It happened years ago, maybe decades. And yet somehow, at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday, it shows up uninvited. That thing you said in front of everyone. That trip on the stairs. That joke that landed in total silence. Your whole body reacts like it's happening right now. Your face gets hot. Your stomach drops. But here's the strange part. You cannot remember what you ate for lunch 3 days ago. Your brain deleted that instantly. So why does it hang on to the worst 5 seconds of your life like they're priceless? The truth is far stranger than simple bad luck. Your brain was never trying to torture you. It was trying to protect you. And the fact that it feels like torture is just an accident of how ancient that protection system actually is. Think about what a memory is actually for. Not a video recording. Not a diary entry. A memory is a prediction tool. Your brain isn't storing the past for nostalgia. It's storing the past so it can guess what happens next, especially the parts that could hurt you. And for most of human history, hurt you didn't mean an awkward silence at a dinner party. It meant something closer to death. Here's the piece most people never think about. For nearly all of human existence, you didn't survive alone. You survived as part of a small group, a tribe. A handful of families who hunted together, shared food, and depended on each other completely. If that group decided you were a liability, an embarrassment, someone not worth the resources, they could simply leave you behind. No group meant no food sharing, no protection from predators, no help raising children. In that world, social rejection wasn't an inconvenience. It was frequently a death sentence. So your brain built a very specific alarm system. Anything that signaled the group might reject you got flagged as urgent, not filed away like grocery lists or lunch menus. Flagged, stamped, and burned in with extra intensity, the same way your brain would burn in the location of a predator's den. This is where a researcher named James Maddaw comes in. Maddaw spent decades studying how emotional arousal affects memory formation, and he found something remarkable. When you experience a moment with a strong emotional charge, especially fear, shame, or humiliation, your amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deep in your brain, effectively tells your memory system to press record in high definition. Neutral moments get compressed, edited, mostly discarded. Emotionally charged moments get preserved with far more vivid detail. The exact words, the exact face someone made, the exact temperature of the room. Maddaw's research showed that this isn't a flaw in the system. It's the system working exactly as designed. Your brain assumed that anything embarrassing enough to trigger that fear response must be important enough to remember forever, just in case the same danger shows up again. Except the danger, in your case, was a joke that didn't land. Here's where the story takes a turn you probably didn't expect. Psychologist Thomas Gilovich ran a series of studies asking a simple question. How much do other people actually notice and remember our embarrassing moments? In one well-known experiment, Gilovich had a participant wear an unflattering, mildly embarrassing t-shirt into a room full of strangers, then leave. Afterward, he asked the participant to guess how many people in the room had noticed the shirt. Then he asked the actual people in the room whether they'd noticed. The participants wearing the shirt consistently overestimated how many people noticed, sometimes by more than double. Gilovich called this the spotlight effect, the deeply human tendency to believe you are the center of everyone's attention, when in reality, most people are far too busy managing their own anxieties to clock yours. Does that land differently than you expected? The room full of strangers wasn't secretly cataloging your every flaw. They were mostly thinking about themselves, the same way you were mostly thinking about yourself in that moment. Your brain, running on ancient tribal software, assumed a much larger audience than actually existed, and assumed a much longer memory in that audience than actually formed. So you're left holding a memory built for a tribe of 30 people who depended on your reputation for survival. Deployed in a world of strangers who forgot about your shirt by lunchtime, there's another layer to this worth sitting with. Researchers Roger Brown and James Kulik studied something called flashbulb memories. the unusually vivid, detailed memories people form around emotionally intense public events. People often describe remembering exactly where they were, what they were wearing, who they were with, during moments of shock or high emotion. Brown and Kulik proposed that this vividness comes from a special kind of neural encoding, one that treats emotionally significant moments as different in kind, not just degree, from ordinary memories. Your personal embarrassments get the same treatment, not because falling down the stairs in front of your coworkers was historically significant, but because your brain's alarm system can't tell the difference between the group is judging you and the group left without you. It reacts to both with the same ancient urgency. This is why the memory doesn't fade the way boring memories do. It's not sitting in the same folder as what you had for lunch. It's sitting in the folder marked potential exile, filed right next to information that tens of thousands of years ago might have saved your life. Knowing this doesn't erase the memory, but it does change what the memory means. That moment your brain keeps replaying isn't proof that you're fundamentally flawed or that everyone secretly remembers your worst 5 seconds the way you do. It's evidence of a very old, very literal survival mechanism misfiring in a very new environment. One where public embarrassment rarely threatens your access to food, shelter, or safety. Even though it still feels exactly like it might, consider what actually happens after most embarrassing moments today. You go home. You eat dinner. Nobody exiles you from the neighborhood. Nobody stops sharing resources with you. The tribe, if you can even call it that anymore, mostly forgets by the next conversation. The same way you forget most other people's slip-ups within a day or two. Your brain simply hasn't caught up to the fact that reputational risk today rarely equals survival risk. It's still running code written for a world where the two were the same thing. So the next time that memory shows up uninvited at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday, and your face gets hot and your stomach drops, you can recognize it for what it actually is. Not evidence that you're broken. Not proof that everyone remembers. Just an old alarm, ringing for a threat that expired 10,000 years ago, still convinced it's protecting you from being left behind. It happened years ago. Maybe decades. And your brain isn't torturing you by remembering it. It's still quietly trying to keep you inside the tribe.